Well, everybody, I know that by the time you watch this, that the Diablo Immortal whole fiasco is going to be really old by then, but the fact of the matter is, we still don't know when Diablo 4 is going to come out. Remember, this is recorded now December 2018. If you're watching this in the future, that may be different, but as of right now, we don't know when Diablo 4 is going to come, and I'm still just a little bit upset about that. But, you know what? I don't need Diablo 4. You know why? I've got something much better. A game that I played many years ago on PS2, now brought to you through the wonderful power of emulation. This is Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. Now, all joking aside, I am looking forward to Diablo 4 whenever it does happen, but this is a great game. Not the best of all time, surely, but it is set in the Dungeons & Dragons world of the Forgotten Realms, meaning this game has all the D&D staples, right? It's got the well-renowned locations, the classic enemies, and the wonderful jam-packed lore that is sitting behind decades and decades of development of this world. This game is basically D&D plus Diablo, and it's really awesome. The game takes you through several sprawling acts that lead you through many famous Forgotten Realms locations, of course including the namesake of this game, the town of Baldur's Gate. While the town itself is small and there isn't really much to explore off the beaten path, the game has an excellent level design that really helps to make the tight environment feel much larger than it actually is. I mean, they're really not working with much, but they do a good job of making, especially the early sewer sections, they make them feel fairly sprawling for how small and linear this game really is. I particularly enjoyed the crypt section of the first act, where zombies and skeletons would pop randomly out of the ground to attack you. That level had the perfect blend of dark atmosphere to really make me feel like I was in a dungeon. Another cool thing about this game is the mechanical aspect of developing your character and leveling up. Being a D&D game, this game uses the standard D&D set of attributes and feats and operates mechanically as if it were actually using dice rolls, kind of like the actual old school Baldur's Gate games and a real D&D game does. I found this to be a nice touch because the D&D system worked great for RPGs and games like this alike. It did feel like I was actually filling out part of a character sheet. Of course, the game has randomly generated weapons and armor like any good ARPG, with suffixes such as +1 for enhanced stats of some kind, or maybe like an icy enchantment, fiery enchantment, an of disruption, or something like that. Just various enhancements to the weapon and armor. It's not as deep and complex of a system as you'd see in other ARPGs, but it has enough depth to still be satisfying. It definitely doesn't give you the kind of loot porn feel that some other games have. It's not as extreme, but I feel like there's enough of it to still give you that kind of satisfying thing, and it still kind of scratches that itch. As far as difficulty goes, this game is fairly difficult. While roaming around various levels was fairly easy, the game will throw various rooms at you that I like to call quote-unquote murder rooms, because they're packed with a disgusting amount of enemies, to the point where it's very easy to die unless you retreat. I mean, seriously, I would have to reload several times just to get through one area because they'd pack like 15 monsters into this one space. Absolutely crazy. Furthermore, I found that some bosses were very difficult as they did high damage or spawned tons of minions, while other bosses, surprisingly, were a snooze fest. Another unexpected thing the game throws at you is various platforming and trap sections, which, while annoying, I did find them to be a nice break from the monotony of the rest of the game. Overall, this game doesn't have the deepest character customization or the craziest loot system out of all the ARPGs, but what it does have behind it are some very solid D&D mechanics and a very enriched and exciting game world, all brought to you by the Forgotten Realms. If you're a fan of D&D and ARPGs, then you'll definitely love this game. I know I do. But even if you're not, I still think you'll find that it's a very fun game, even if it's not the most advanced and complex of its time.